What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new transfer video, and it looks like the Liverpool long-term transfer target Khephren Thuram is not extending his contract at Nice, and Nice has put him on the transfer list. He's available for as little as £13 million, which is an absolute bargain for a really good box-to-box midfielder. And with Thiago leaving Liverpool, Liverpool need another midfielder signed, and Khephren Thuram could be an ideal solution because he can play defensive midfield, box-to-box midfield, and he had a pretty good season at Nice. We will take a look at the latest reports and rumors in this video, and we will of course talk about a lot of other things like Jurgen Klopp's farewell and many other Liverpool related topics. So make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here. So French publications are reporting that with Khephren Thuram having 1 year left on his deal, he has been put up for sale by Nice because they don't want to lose him for nothing. He didn't extend his contract at Nice, and he's only 23 years old and he wants to take the next chapter in his career. He is 192 centimeters tall, so he's a very tall, muscular player, and he played 28 games for Nice in all competitions, scoring 1 goal and getting 1 assist. And he had a very up and down season, just like Nice had throughout the whole season. Nice started the season unbeaten until December, and they conceded very few goals in the first part of the season, which Khephren Thuram was a big part of it. And then he suffered an injury, and that coincided with Nice starting to lose games. When he got that knee injury, he missed 4 games in total with his knee injury. In those 4 games, Nice lost twice, and their form really went downhill. They went on a long winless run at the beginning of February that lasted to like a whole month. But then Khephren Thuram, after recovering from his knee injury, he started pretty much every game and he finished the season really strong with Nice. They have been in a much better form since the middle of since the middle of March. And the French league only has 1 game left, and Nice have qualified themselves for Europe, which is a huge achievement because they don't usually qualify for Europe. They will either play in the Conference League. But of course Nice don't have the finances to keep all of their stars, and they need to sell 1 or 2 players every summer, and Khephren Thuram could be the player that they are selling because he only has 1 year left on his contract, and he's still pretty early in his career. He started for the Monaco Youth Academy. He started at the Monaco Youth Academy, and then he went to Nice. He played for their second team, and then at 18 years old he broke through the first team, and since then he has played a lot of games, 162 games, and scoring 9 goals in the process in his full professional career. And Ibrahima Konate is very good friends with Khephren Thuram. Konate calls him little brother. So if another midfielder is required, then Khephren Thuram could be the player that Liverpool target, because this is a player that Liverpool heavily scouted, and we were heavily interested in him before we turned our attention to Lavia and then Caicedo, and ultimately we settled on Vataruendo. You also have to say that Khephren Thuram is not a classic out-and-out defensive midfielder. He played as a number 8, as a box-to-box midfielder most of the time at Nice. Another player that will inevitably leave Nice this summer is Jean-Claire Todibo, the centre-back that Liverpool have been scouting as well. And it could be argued that signing a centre-back is more of a priority for Liverpool, with Matip leaving, than signing a midfielder. We have a lot of midfielders with young players coming through, but signing a centre-back I think is absolutely vital. But you also have to argue that for £13 million you don't get a decent first team squad player even at this level. So Khephren Thuram for just 13 million would be an absolute bargain deal. I mean, Vataruendo for 15-16 million was a bargain, but Khephren Thuram is only 23 years old. So even if he isn't like a world-class player in 2 or 3 years, he could still double or triple his value after moving to Liverpool and playing regularly. And of course Khephren Thuram would have loved to sign for Liverpool, but after Liverpool ended their interest in him, he said in November of last year, I decided to stay at Nice. I wanted to continue to progress at Nice and to progress as a player at this club. Honestly, it made me happy to be linked to all these clubs, left, right and center. It shows I'm doing the right things. But as I said, I knew I wanted to stay here. Probably Khephren Thuram was not ready for that level of Liverpool. I mean, even Gravenberch struggled in some games, but these young players, they of course need time, they need to adjust to a new league, and Khephren Thuram could be a very good squad player. As I said, for 13 million, it's a no-brainer to sign him, because that leaves us enough money to sign an out-and-out brilliant defensive midfielder. But if Liverpool want to be really smart and also really, spending their money well, we should sign a brilliant centre-back who can walk into the first team, sign a brilliant defensive midfielder like Ugarte, which I made a video on Ugarte yesterday with all the details, so make sure to check that out if you haven't already, and sign a left or right winger who can score goals, who is fast, who is skillful. But these three transfers would cost Liverpool 150, maybe even 200 million pounds if we are honest, if we want to sign first team quality. So Liverpool might have to sell a few players, and I wouldn't sell anybody really, but if I had the choice and somebody had to go who is worth a lot of money, I would sell Luis Diaz, because he's 27 years old. I love him to bits, don't get me wrong, but he's at his maximum valuation right now, and he might not get much better. But of course it depends what kind of targets are available. If you can't get a player as good as Luis Diaz in the forward line, then you shouldn't sell him. You should just keep our forwards as it is and strengthen the midfield and the defense. And Nice coach Farioli says that Thuram is now a more complete midfielder thanks to staying at Nice. Perhaps in some matches there was a gap between the huge expectations on Thuram and some matches where he wasn't at 100%. He has responded and he has shown that he's a great player. He has shown a lot of maturity. What I have seen in recent weeks is something clicking into place on a mental level. He's taking responsibility, he has grown and matured, notably in terms of his defensive work and also his consistency within matches. He has his individual reading of the game too. It makes him unique, precious, and that's why he's followed by lots of teams. So of course his manager is praising him, which is always a good thing. And if you consider that last summer Nice wanted 34 million pounds for Khephren Thuram, that's around 40 million euros. To sell him for just 13 million now is an absolute bargain. Of course they had to drop his price to make him an attractive proposition, because he only has 1 year left on his contract. So in January he can already start negotiating with other clubs if he's not sold outside of France on a pre-contract agreement. There is one other factor in this transfer saga that we have to consider. Manchester United are looking for new transfers, and Ineos, the owners of Nice, have purchased a stake in Manchester United, so Nice and Man United might do business with each other now that they have same ownership. Sir Jim Ratcliffe owns Ineos with his company owning and sponsoring Nice, now having become a shareholder at Manchester United. He is in charge of football operations at Man United. Thuram intrigues a number of people at Man United, and he's under consideration as well, with Man United expected to make changes in their midfield. They had an absolute disastrous season, one of their worst seasons. So if Liverpool want to sign Khephren Thuram, we probably have to go in early for him before the Euros. But of course he won't play for France, a national team. He's just not on that level yet. He had a pretty inconsistent season with some small injuries. As I said, his biggest injury was he missed 4 games in a row, which is like not that much. And also, maybe now that Ineos owns part of Manchester United, maybe they don't want to do business with Liverpool. Maybe they don't want to strengthen Liverpool. And certainly, maybe Ineos don't want to sell Khephren Thuram on a bargain deal to Liverpool to strengthen them, because the rivalry between Man United and Liverpool is really huge, and Sir Jim Ratcliffe is a Man United fan. So that's another factor that I just wanted to mention in this transfer saga. Anthony Gordon, the Newcastle forward who used to play for Everton after being released from the Liverpool academy at the age of 11, He has been linked with Liverpool, but David Ornstein in a Q&A quashed those rumors, saying that yes, Liverpool and Man City and many other clubs really like Anthony Gordon, but they are not expected to pursue the winger because Newcastle absolutely don't want to sell. And even if that stance was changeable, the potential level of transfer fee it would take to buy Anthony Gordon would be astronomical. Newcastle would ask for £80 million, I think, at least, and he's not worth that amount yet. At least he's a developing player. He's a very direct winger, which I absolutely love about him, but he is just too expensive for Liverpool. For that amount of money from the rest of Europe, we can buy an even better player for probably a lower price. What is also interesting is that Paul Joyce is getting briefed to report in the Times newspaper that Jurgen Klopp told Liverpool to extend Matip's contract, but Liverpool decided against it and they are letting Matip go, which I think the majority of Liverpool fans agree with it. But Jurgen Klopp thinks that Joao Matip, for his 8-year service at Liverpool, deserves a new contract, but it's too much of a risk with Matip coming back from a 9-month injury. You never know what kind of level he will be at, and even if he will be back to his absolute best, he is very injury prone, and Liverpool want to sign a player who is much younger and who is much more reliable. So I kind of agree with Liverpool's stance of not extending Matip's contract. And also good news, Thiago returned to training at Liverpool, so could he play some part against Wolves? I really hope so, because he needs to bid Anfield farewell, just like Jurgen Klopp, and I would love to see Thiago just play for a few minutes against Wolves at the end of the game to get another feeling of the Anfield atmosphere and to be part of Jurgen Klopp's last game, which will be a very, very emotional affair. And of course Thiago will be very eager to play, and Thiago, having had such an injury-stricken season, it's really sad to see him leave Liverpool this way. He's 33 years old and I wish him all the best. I think whoever signs him will get a world-class midfielder. It's just too much of a risk to keep him around because he couldn't fix his body for the whole season, which is really heartbreaking, because on his day, when he's in form, he's a world-class player. So that's it for today's video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I will keep making videos today and tomorrow about Jurgen Klopp's final game and about the latest news around Liverpool FC. So make sure to stick around. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. See you later, guys. Goodbye.